Dating and love is not a popularity contest. If you're being intentional about finding a relationship, you don't need everyone, you just need one. Number two.
Let the church say amen. You just need one. That is one of the many insights dating coach Matthew Hussey shares on his popular podcast, Love Life with Matthew Hussey. His new book, I love this title, is called Love Life, How to Raise Your Standards, Find Your Person, and Live Happily Ever After No Matter What. Matthew Hussey joins us first on CBS Mornings. Matthew, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thanks for being
guys.
here.
Thank you for having me.
I remember when you were on ET every Thursday, I would sit there with a pad and a paper because your advice was always spot on, and now it's in a book. Bravo. Number one.
I'd been much more nervous if I knew you were watching.
Oh, no. Real relationships require bravery on both sides. Number two, someone doesn't need to be a bad person for you to feel bad with them. Love that. And one of my favorites, don't invest in someone based on how much you like them. Invest in someone based on how much they invest in you. I love that, Matthew. So what is the biggest mistake people make in finding their person?
When we like someone, like that moment where we've decided we like someone is the most dangerous moment in our dating lives. Because it is precisely the moment we are most liable to give up our standards with that person. When especially if we've been looking for a love for a long time, when an internal culture of anxiety and fear that it's never going to happen for us meets an external dating culture of people giving the minimum possible amount to you and taking all they can get, that creates a recipe for us lowering our standards at precisely the time we should be raising them. And here's the other problem, by the way. When we first meet someone, we think, oh, I had an epic date with someone. I had such an amazing connection. That's a reason to invest. But in the beginning, you don't know who someone is, and we have to remind ourselves of that. We're only measuring their impact.
Right.
Character is a very different thing.
Especially this day and age, where everybody puts on a little bit of a front, right?
That's exactly right. And character is consistent. You can only measure character over time. So if you've made your mind up about someone too quickly, remember, you're not measuring their character or how great of a partner they'd be. You're only measuring their impact on you.
Okay, so say you do think you found your person. You say that this sounds counterintuitive, but that is a time when you should start focusing on your friendships and what you have going on versus the person, right?
Yeah, because we make them too important. Even if they're a great person, those things that give you a rich life, those things that are your source of identity and validation and worth outside of that person, are deeply important. If suddenly that person becomes your only source, now you feel like you can't afford to lose them. You always have to be able to lose someone. And the irony is, when you know you can lose someone, it actually becomes stronger than ever.
Earlier you mentioned standards. Another word for that might be red flags. Violations of those standards would be a red flag. But I also understand that you don't really believe in the concept of red flags. Can you explain that?
Well,
you say they can be valuable or damaging,
If you have if these days, everything's become a red flag to everyone. We love talking about them because we all love looking at our past and going, what did I miss? But the problem with obsessing over red flags is we stop being present. It turns us into a detective in our dating lives. You don't have to worry about spotting red flags. But by the way, the reason we're obsessed with spotting red flags is because we don't trust ourselves to walk away once we're in. If we trust ourselves, we don't need to obsess over red flags because the moment we see one, we trust ourselves to walk away.
You also talk about people should consider happy enough. How is happy enough not another word for settling?
When everyone said to me, like, you have to be happy before you meet someone, I always thought that was nonsense. Because I was like, how many people do I know that are in marriages that were blissfully happy and whole and have figured everything out before they met their person? I think it's damaging and it makes us feel inadequate. A time in our lives where we need to show compassion to ourselves. We don't need to be blissfully happy. We need to learn how to be happy enough that we can always say no to the wrong thing, and when the right thing comes along, we can be ourselves.
Matthew Hussey, thank you so much. Love Life goes on sale tomorrow.
The book is so good.
It is so good.